Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're just going to do a quick gaming news recap as there's been a lot of announcements, delays, surprises that have been kind of going on the last week.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd just kind of run through the ones that we were interested in, give you our opinions on it. If you weren't aware, now you'll be informed. And it's a quick video for you guys. Hope you like that. So we'll just dive right in here. So basically, we've got some... a no-show. So PlayStation has officially announced that they are not going to be at E3 this year, similar to last year, which is a shocker because we know that the PlayStation 5 will be announced and launched this year alongside the Xbox Series X, which already has been announced, and will be released this fall. So you would think that with Xbox going to have a big presence at E3 to blow out the new console, as it has been in history, every other major console release has been announced and blown out at E3. You would think that PlayStation would, at the very minimum, have their conference this year to showcase a bunch of games, let people get their hands on. And nope, they decided they're going to skip it. And their statement basically stated that they will be attending hundreds of consumer events throughout the year. So they didn't specify if they would be announcing the PS5 via State of Play, which would at this point seem most likely, if they're going to host their own event, sort of PlayStation experience, before E3 or after E3 to cover the PS5, or would they just slowly just send it out via press releases, which seems to be the most idiotic thing to do with something as big as a brand new console.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, man?
I think it's ridiculous and doesn't make sense. I understood why they didn't attend last year. They didn't really have anything big. It wasn't worth the money. Save on that and invest in themselves. This year would have been the best year to come back to E3, come back strong. You have your new console coming out. Maybe you have some new exclusives, some gameplay footage. Just really pump up PlayStation again. Because right now, all you are hearing is Xbox and Nintendo.
That's it.
The Switch and Xbox.
Who are right now having a nice little partnership with license sharing, support for one another. Having Nintendo basically say play this game on Xbox, and Xbox talking about go watch the Nintendo Direct, and all this kind of back and forth between them. So it's a very interesting.
They're really
time.
getting left behind. They're definitely the third person in this group right now.
Not from a financial standpoint, but from a top of mind standpoint.
Yes, they're the third wheel right now. I mean, I can see them doing their own state of play right before E3. That's the only way this makes sense. They're going to try and save money and try and do their own thing where they have full control. They get to, pretty much control what they are putting out there and show as much as they want and what they want. So that would be my prediction on what they're going to do. I don't think it's as good as them actually attending E3, showing that they're part of the atmosphere, supporting the groups, all the high-end content creators and reviewers and stuff like that will be there as well. And I just don't get it.
Well, I think that at the very minimum, if they want to go the Nintendo route and do a digital presentation, which I'm okay with that, because a conference, when we're watching it at home, is pretty much, whether it's live streaming they're on stage or it's in a digital format, if we're watching it for the first time, it's still a presentation however you look at it. I'm okay with that, but at the very minimum, show it during E3 like Nintendo does with their Direct. So it's in the same slot. It's still on Tuesday. It's just digital instead of physical. It's still part of the E3 news. It's still part of the whole coverage. Nintendo's presentation is still talks about that stuff. So I think it's imperative to make sure that these conversations are happening at the same time. You can announce PS5, give some details, but you need to have some sort of presence, even if it's digitally, during that time. So I think that if they don't do anything during that time, it's a big mistake. In addition, while Nintendo doesn't actually have a press conference, they are still physically at the show with games available for people to play. The fact that PlayStation isn't even doing that as a minimum seems to be a complete
have people test out your systems, the different games, get a feel for it, really get immersed in it and have some sort of connection. Be like, oh yeah, I've actually played that. I put a little bit of blood into it, sweat and tears into it, not much, but got a feel for it, like how it feels or whatnot, instead of just seeing random videos and be like, okay, well, it looks good, but is that like actual gameplay, or is that video content that you created? Actually seeing the game and feeling it and seeing how the system works and the consoles can really go a long way.
Absolutely. And I think that In regards to their strategy, I don't seem at this point in time think that they are thinking this through. I understand that they're trying to save money, and I get that. To this point, the only games that we know about that they have are Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, which they've shown at the last two E3s. You know, they can't keep showing more of the game without like spoiling, because they're story-driven games, without spoiling a lot of kind of what it's about. So I understand that you know, without showing this same trailer, they don't want to have a presentation of just the two games. But if you think about it, at E3, you're going to have a lot of third parties showing their upcoming games, especially if it's going to be on new tech. The new Assassin's Creed, the new Far Cry potentially. There's going to be EA, you know, forget the sports games, but just, you know, future iterations of a potential, even if it's just an announcement of the new Star Wars First Fallen Order sequel, or what has Rocksteady been up to? Yeah. The new Batman game. Like, there's all, this is a time to announce that stuff. And if you're not going to have a presence there, guess what? They're all going to be in Microsoft's conference. And then everyone's mindset is, oh, I'm going to play this game on Xbox.
Exactly.
I'm going to play the new Batman on Xbox. I'm going to play the new Assassin's Creed on Xbox, because that's where they're going to show it, because that's the presentation that's going to be available to them.
Yep, I agree. I think it's a mistake, but we'll find out if they're trusting their marketing department and their higher ups, and this is the game plan that they have. See how it works out for them.
Absolutely. And they could also drop a trailer and not have any gameplay, but just like an animated, you know, 2-minute trailer of Spider-Man and a God of War sequel, saying it's in development. Nintendo did one for Zelda last year, and it was a surprise to everyone, and no one expected it. And there was no gameplay; it wasn't a cutscene, but that's all you needed. You generate hype; everyone knows it's coming, and then everyone's anticipating the next big E3. Well, they'll probably show more if it is indeed going to announce this release this year, or if it releases next year. They'll definitely have some sort of a trailer to say it's coming next year.
Expected, yeah.
So I mean, there's our thoughts on that. PlayStation, got to step your game up.
Seriously.
Final Fantasy VII has been delayed officially to April of this year.
It's like a common theme right now going on for games.
Delays, yes. Speaking of delays, Avengers has been pushed out of the May spot all the way down to September, which unfortunately sucks. What are your thoughts on those?
I think that could be dangerous for those games. I mean, Final Fantasy...
Final Fantasy VII is huge for...
Yeah, but I'm surprised it's taking this long because it's a remake of a game that they already have.
And it's only a part of the game.
Yeah.
It's not even the full game. It's a part of a game.
So that one's more confusing to me, because they already have essentially everything mapped out. They just have to, you know, up the specs and everything and upgrade it that way. But just like... I don't know. I think Marvel's going to be in trouble too, because that September slot's a busy one for games that come out, and it may be left behind because of all the other options people have, and the money can, like, people only have a certain amount to spend for the most part, and they're going to pick and choose which games they want the most, and Marvel might not hit that for everyone.
September is going to be very close to October, which is the potential launch of the new Xbox and or PlayStation 5. There's going to be the new Halo. There's going to be other third-party games that are going to be launching around that time. It's going to be really tough for people to be like, I'm dropping the money on Avengers. As much as I'm a fan and I have it pre-ordered, it's that exactly. There's a lot of money. You have a limited amount of funds that are available to yourself. What are you going to spend your money on? And a lot of people are going to be looking towards that next gen.
Yeah, saving up. Being like, in a couple months, I'm going to drop a bunch of money
for Avengers to go on sale and I'll
this.
buy it, I'll play it. Yeah. So I hope that they can give it a lot more polish and attention to detail that the game definitely needs. Maybe now at launch it won't be just X amount of characters, it'll be an extra 5 or 6 now, because they have all this extra months of development time. Let's hope to really like get a strong push, because in that September time window it's going to have a lot of competition.
Yeah, which is dangerous.
Another big delay is Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed till September of this year.
Which is just gonna right up against Marvel right away.
Another game right there.
And like, it's got a lot more oomph and a lot more people punt for it than they do the Marvel game. So Cyberpunk is, you know, much anticipated.
Yes. And I feel that this is a little bit more shocking, because this game has been in development longer than I would say Avengers has been. And, you know, we've had trailers and it's kind of been out for a few years.
Like the footage and the trailers look very polished and like ready to go, and they have a story ready and everything's, you know, almost ready to go out. But they're pushing it back. I guess more developers are trying to be on the safer side hearing that all these complaints of games that have come out that aren't quite complete, and they're charging the full $80, Canadian, and all these complaints of customers saying I'm paying full pop for an unfinished game.
Yes.
And these developers are saying, well, maybe we should make sure that they're as finished as much as we can finish it, and really giving the customer something to kind of earn their trust back.
Absolutely. So that's it for delays. On the flip side, we had some awesome news from Nintendo. They dropped the Surprise Direct on Thursday this past week, and they basically announced the final Smash DLC character. So it wasn't in a Nintendo Direct, traditional Nintendo Direct. It was a Smash focused reveal, which I thought that they would have this after it was surprise announced in the Direct. So this took me aback that they would do it this way, but I was fine with it. And then I found out why they were doing it this way. The final Smash DLC character is not what anyone was expecting. It was another Fire Emblem character, and everyone was expecting a third party. It wasn't. Everyone was expecting a unique character. It wasn't. And so, fans were disappointed. There was a lot of uproar in during live streams, during the comment sections, and all sorts of things on Reddit and Reset Era and stuff like that. A lot of people were upset with the fact that it was another Fire Emblem character. Yeah. They did make fun of it in the reveal trailer. The fact that it was another sword, you're using a sword, and you're not going to stand up against all the other sword fighters. And they showed all the Fire Emblem sword fighters along with Link and along with the other characters using swords, and just like, oh, it's just another character. But they did give it a nice twist. I guess Nintendo realized that we do need to make this different. And because the character they announced was Byleth, the main character from the Fire Emblem Three Houses game on Switch, this character will be using the main weapon of each of the three houses. So it will have an axe, it will have a lance, and it will have a bow and arrow. So you have those in addition to his sword, which is a whip-style sword that can extend and whatnot. So at least there was some unique mechanics with it enough that it was like, okay, if we're going to have a new Fire Emblem character, it's different enough that I'm interested to give it a go. Yeah. But, when you have Marth, Roy, Lucina, Ike, Chrom, and I'm missing the one that was just out of the last game, the one that transforms into a dragon in the DLC, Corrin. All use swords. It's just another one is just, it's just too much. Yeah. We got Robin, which is a magic user, which was a welcome change, but I don't know. I just, out of all the series that are represented in Nintendo, there's a lot more series that could use more love than Fire Emblem at this point. You could add another Mario character, you can add another Zelda character, you can add another Donkey Kong. People have been wanting Dixie Kong. We got King K. Rool, which I'm happy with, but you can do more there. F-Zero only has the one character. I don't know. There's just so many other franchises that they could tap into and provide a new character, and they just happen to go with this one. So it kind of makes me wonder if they decided to go with this character in this pack because there's enough unique third party to sell the Fighters Pass as a whole that people would buy them all. Yeah. And then maybe the character that could have been thrown in here, they pushed into the next pass because they announced.
Give a bit more.
Yeah. So they announced a second Fighters Pass, which we knew was coming. We thought it'd be an extra 2 or 3 fighters. It turns out it's 6 fighters, so it's going to be one more than the last, which is great news.
Fantastic.
Obviously, they're all the fighters that are going to be coming are already chosen, so we can't send in requests. But my guess is that there will be a couple third parties in there in addition to Nintendo first party characters coming up in there. My guess is one of them will definitely be another Pokemon. Yeah. If Fire Emblem's getting this treatment with a new game, they'll probably have a new Pokemon, one of the starters or one of the legendaries or something like that thrown in there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then they announced new costumes as they do with each new character, and this one had some unique ones in there. We had Altair, which is from the original Assassin's Creed from Ubisoft. Definitely didn't see this coming. They also had Rabbids, which was a callback to how big Rabbids were on Nintendo platforms, and they have the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And then they showcased the Mega Man X costume and Mega Man.exe costume, which we already had Mega Man. They already did the Zero and Proto Man costumes from the previous DLC fighter. Yeah. So, those aren't as exciting. And then they ended with a surprise Cuphead with its own little trailer, a full Cuphead costume, and it comes with a music track, just like they did with Sans from Undertale with the previous pack. Awesome way to do it. If you're not going to get the fighter in there, you still get some music. You still get a costume that changes the Mii fighter to look like the character. Yeah. So you kind of feel like you're getting a character for 95 cents Canadian. It's a great opportunity for that. So with the fact that they had these costumes announced, the fact that 2 of them are Ubisoft, that was unexpected. I think that Nintendo and Ubisoft are in talks, and I think one of the new fighters in the new pass will be a Ubisoft character. I think that it may be Rayman, although it's not one that I'd want to get, or it could potentially be an Assassin's Creed character, because we know we have Mega Man and they're dropping other Mega Man costumes.
Yeah.
And they
if you make one, you can have all these other outfits and costumes that you can just kind of cycle through and have all those characters that way.
And when they dropped like Terry, they had costumes for other characters, other fighter costumes from other characters that you couldn't get to be. So they did that. Even with Fire Emblem, I think they had some costumes for other Fire Emblem characters as well. So it would make sense that, you know, maybe they're going to get Ezio, which is by far one of the more famous assassins. He had 3 games, as the playable character, and then Altair is a costume to pay respect to the original, and you know, and then his alt costumes will probably be of the different assassins. So I think it'll either be that, which works great because they have a lot of different gadgets and things that they can use. You know, he can climb buildings and stuff. So I think that would be a cool fit for Smash and be unique, using like, you know, hidden blades and swords, and well, it has a sword, but he uses a lot of other gadgets and poison darts and stuff. So that'd be really cool. Or if they decide to go the Rayman route and have him as the Ubisoft representative. So I think that that's likely going to be one of the characters, along with a new Pokemon. And then, of course, always, I think Gino's going to be one of those 6, and I'm hoping and praying that he gets in. But what are your thoughts on all this news? Do you think...
So I like that they're committed and that they're trying to get the most out of this last kind of big Smash Brother Ultimate. Yes. You know, announcing 6 more to the fighter pack instead of people thinking 2, 3, maximum 4 more. Really committing, doubling down, and putting 6, I think is a huge commitment. They have nothing to lose. Let's make this as big as you can. And yeah, I'd be interested to see who's going to be announced for this next 6. But yeah, you're much more of a big Smash guy than I am.
Yes.
But my son's getting more into it. I've gotten a little bit into it as well. So I'm trying to play catch up. But I do enjoy the characters that they do have in there.
So if you think of it, so what I did find out after the fact is that the 6 new fighters will be released. So when the first pass came out, they said all fighters will be released as of by latest February 2020. And the last character we know is coming officially January 28th. That's Byleth.
Yeah.
So along on that date, they'll release for you to pre-order the next Fighters Pass. Now they did say that the next Fighters Pass will be released. All the characters, all 6 fighters will be out as of February 2022.
Oh,
so it's a 2 year for 6 characters. So that means 3 characters per year, where they did 5 in this past year. You're doing 3 per year. So they're just going to stretch it out, which means you're getting 1 every 4 months, pretty much. So they're going to take more development time, which means I hope that they're going to be very unique characters, if at all possible, and really puts a lot of love and care, songs, stages, all that kind of stuff, and love into it. And so I'm hoping they might sprinkle in some new modes and stuff in there as well, because they have that much more development time. They can do, okay, now there's a new update with a new game mode or a new whatever, and throw it in there as part of one of the fighter DLCs or something.
It'd be very smart just to, you know, continue to add to the game so that people come back to be like, oh, I want to try this new mode, or, you know, try and get these characters and unlock these certain abilities. So it'll keep them engaged, and also, you know, engaged by buying new characters, or, you know, trying them out that way too.
Absolutely. Now, and again, to show the strength of the partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo, they had gotten Banjo in, which originally appeared on Nintendo platform, but the fact that Microsoft owns it, they're like, yeah, we're absolutely happy to have him in Smash. Yeah. And then again, to partner with them and say we're going to use Cuphead as a costume, get the track from them, because we know how big Cuphead was a great success for Microsoft as a first party game. Oh, yeah, I think they own the makers of Cuphead now. So have that game, and then now it's on the Switch, and then people were wanting to get these new characters in Smash because of how successful the game was, and then they're like, well, we're going to show some love by giving you a costume and giving you a track. So, I mean, they're definitely in talks with Microsoft. Could it be possible that one of these fighters could be a Minecraft Steve character, or a Master Chief character, or another Microsoft character? Is the potential there? There's a lot of talks about that. There's a lot of talks about being a potential another Microsoft character. Sony doesn't seem like they want to play ball.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Which we've seen constantly the last year and a bit. Unfortunately, they want to stay to themselves and not be involved with anyone else, and kind of be on that island. and I think they're missing a lot of ships that are sailing by them. But I think Microsoft's being very smart with this partnership with, or not really a partnership, but being open with Nintendo and being willing to share their resources a bit.
Absolutely. So if you were to just, out of all the games you played throughout your life, is there any particular game that stands out as your favorite that you would think that you would like that character to be in this fighting game?
I think Master Chief would be cool.
So that would be your pick.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't see that being completely like impossible as it would like 2 years ago. No one thought it would ever be possible. If there would ever be a Microsoft character, it would be Banjo. And now the Banjo's in, and then they have the Cuphead. It's like, wow, they're really like listening to fans. They hear us, what we want. And Gino has been a huge support, along with a lot of people wanting Waluigi in the game. So it's very interesting to see where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
with next 6.
I think so. Like they can't do anything Gears wise because it's just not kid friendly and not like the kids wouldn't know really.
But I mean, they do have Solid Snake, who has grenades and bombs and rocket launchers. But you're right. I mean, Gears,
and they don't have as much technology like Gears. It's pretty much just the saw and the gun and stuff like that, and not too much tech wise or gear wise. So yeah, I think Master Chief could be like that. Everyone knows him. Very cool factor.
He's got the jetpack jump ability. He can use. He has a sprint ability. So there are abilities that he can use in his moveset, along with various different guns for different inputs. He has melee attacks. He has a sword. He can call out. There are certain characters like Wario who calls out a motorcycle and rides it. He can call it a warthog. So there's definitely potential to have him in there, or a ghost or something like that. So yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. As long as, we're not getting these characters and then we don't get characters that I think are more deserving. But overall, we'll have to wait and see. And I think that, Nintendo, with the exception of the how many Fire Emblem characters in there, I've been very happy with the selection that they've put so far. So
excellent.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it for the news that we wanted to cover, but we wanted to kind of give you our thoughts on it and what we were happy or disappointed with, and kind of what we think is going to happen. And as we get closer to big events like Nintendo Directs and E3, we'll do prediction videos and stuff like that for you. But with that being said, that was the biggest news we wanted to touch base for you. What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Are you happy or upset with some of these delays and some of these announcements? What are your predictions or thoughts on the new DLC fighters? Are you happy with the Byleth announcement, or are you really upset about it? Let us know. Drop a comment below. If you'd like to support us, hit that subscribe button, and definitely shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com. And as always, fans, stay nerdy.